Their bill will make older and sicker Americans pay more for less coverage, while millionaires and billionaires get a break on their taxes. It will cause costs to go up, care to go down, and leave millions of Americans without health insurance. The president said the Senate bill needed heart. The way this bill cuts health care is heartless. The Senate Republican health care bill is a wolf in sheep's clothing. Only this wolf has even sharper teeth than the House bill.
I saw Schumer criticizing the bill a couple of weeks ago, and he had no idea what was in the bill. He was saying this bill is this and it's that. He had no idea. In fact, the Republican senators didn't know because it wasn't released. Very few people knew. So he was criticizing a bill that he had no idea what was in the bill. But that's called the resistance. I mean, that's a terrible word. Think of it. Their theme is resist. Their theme should be, let's get together, envelop,
fix.
Let's get together. But their theme is resist.
So are they actually going to come to the table? Let's bring in a former Secret Service agent, former NYPD officer, and host of the podcast Renegade Republican, Dan Bongino. Dan, nice to see you this morning.
Morning, Dan.
Morning, Dan.
Hey, yeah, good to be here. Good to see you guys.
Well, you heard the president there in the interview with Pete the other day talking about the Democrats and their resistance. They're not going to come to the table. And meanwhile, the president has these five other Republicans that he's dealing with right now that are also appear to be a no vote. What do you make of this? Democrats don't plan to do anything on this. They're going to watch him fall apart, I guess, at the seams here.
Yeah, great. Listen, I'm a Republican, and this resistance movement is being led by a bunch of political clowns. I mean, think about this. Let's just logically be reasonable for a moment here. The resistance movement seems to be specializing in one thing: resisting actual political victories. The Democrats have gotten smoked over the last 2 years. State, local, federal level, 0 for 5 in special elections. What are they resisting? Listen, I'm not giving them advice at all. But if you think for a minute running on a platform of the other guy sucks is a really good political platform that's going to ensure a political viability in the future, you're out of your mind. They have nothing.
Maybe
zero.
You should tell that to Maxine Waters. She's been out there from the very beginning mentioning impeachment. Here she was last night in the middle of the crowd. Watch what they were chanting.
Impeach 45! Impeach 45! Impeach 45! Impeach 45! Impeach 45! Impeach 45!
Dan, if you're one of the leaders in the Democratic Party and you're watching this, you've got to be thinking, this is why we're not winning elections right now. This is what we're focused on. We're not focused on actually the issues that impact the American people.
Yeah, Abby, I mean, the Constitution delineates impeachment for high crimes and misdemeanors. And the Democrats want to add to that and embarrassing political losses, too. Impeach for what? What are you going to impeach for? Because you got destroyed in an election? What's the crime here? I mean, really, what's the crime other than the fact that you lost an election you thought you were going to win to a guy you just really don't like, who's taken a hardline position?
The crime is the collusion with Vladimir Putin. That is the crime.
Yeah, which incredibly, for months now, for nearly 6 months to a year, not one respectable Democrat's been able to produce a scintilla of evidence that Donald Trump knew anything about Russia other than a couple of business deals he had with his companies. You know, newsflash, guys, Russia's a big country. Businessmen do business with people who are Russian all the time. I mean, if this was a crime, everybody in Congress would be arrested for something. This is ridiculous. It's all made up nonsense. And this impeach thing, the longer they stick with this, is the longer amount of time they stay away from the issues. It's going to hurt them big time.
Speaking of staying away from the issues, there's another investigation underway the Senate has launched into former Attorney General Loretta Lynch and how she may have mischaracterized or been part of mischaracterizing the investigation into Hillary Clinton's emails. We took a quick look at how much coverage that has gotten in so-called mainstream media. And, of course, this is how much coverage of the fact that she is now under investigation for potentially mischaracterizing it. 30 seconds at ABC, nothing at NBC or CBS. But when you look at the so-called Trump-Russia probe just yesterday, 10 minutes, 9 minutes, 7 minutes on the evening newscast. Dan, are we ever going to see a fair accounting of the fact that there was a lot of political maneuvering going on under the Obama administration?
No, you're not. That's the bad news. And let me give your audience a quick, here's the contrast here. Here's how the media covers Republicans. create a spurious charge, and then go and later try to dig up evidence to create, the evidence behind that charge, even though there's nothing there. With Democrats, it's different. The evidence presents itself against a person, and it's ignore the evidence all along and create an alternative narrative to vindicate that person later on. It's a completely different approach. And it's really sad. It's not fair to people who run for office that when you're a Republican, you can. I mean, what's happening to Trump right now is a stain on the media's reputation that I think is going to damage them going on in the future. I mean, when you look at Republican trust in the media, what is it? Only 10% of Republicans trust them. This is not good for the future of the country, and it's really sad that we've come to this point.
Yeah, it's dangerous, too, in terms of trying to get anything done because it takes away all of the bandwidth when it comes to what everyone's talking about. When they want to hear about things like health care, like immigration, like tax reform, we're not hearing about that. We're hearing about Russia, Russia, Russia. And as we've seen in the polling, people are getting really sick of that.
Well, then everyone in the White House has to be lawyered up.
Yeah. Everyone has a lawyer now.
Right, it has to deal with all
Dan,
this.
isn't that the point,
You need
though?
a free and fair media.
Well, isn't that
you
what
need
they're
a free
trying to
and fair
do?
media.
I mean, the media, as the opposition party, is trying to throw a wrench in the gears and stop President Trump.
Well, they're part of the Democrat Party. That's listen, guys, stop. What the American public has to understand is the mainstream media now is part of the Democrat Party. They are the cart. The cart is leading the horse. They're the ones here that are pulling the Democrats to the narratives they want. It's not the Democrats calling the media and saying, hey, we need to impeach Trump. It's the media saying we need to impeach Trump, leading the Democrats along that narrative. That's the difference there, and that's something I wish the public
It's an
would
interesting
understand.
point. With every new headline on Russia, Democrats leap at it. Who's leading that charge? The media.
Dan Bongino, good to have
Dan,
you
thanks
with
a
us
lot.
this morning.
Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Dan.
Have a great Sunday.
Thanks, guys.
All right, turning